football this morning. So a lot of you have already had your fantasy football drafts. Some haven't. They're going to be doing it today. A lot of people, I know my husband's looking forward to this. Question is, what about those breakout guys? You know, we talked about first round picks, who you should be going with, but what about those breakout guys? That's why we have Russ and Jeff, of course, from fantasyfootballstarters.com joining us as they do every Sunday when it's football season. And we are gearing to go, guys.
Oh, yeah, this is it. This is our time of year, isn't it, Russ?
It's definitely the time of year. It's that
And
weekend.
it's coming down to the wire where teams are doing their cuts and their loss, you know, getting rid of who they need to get rid of to get that roster in place.
That's right. And quarterbacks, and we know about Matt Leinart. We'll talk about that. But I think, Russ, you want to talk about a couple of quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, if you're looking for a quarterback, if you miss out on the top 7 quarterbacks, because there's clearly a top 7, there's 2 other guys that I've really targeted for breakout potential in 2010.
Okay.
And the first one is Joe Flacco of the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco started off incredible last year, had 11 touchdowns through the first 6 games, had 2 300-yard games, but then he really cooled down. Well, they've upgraded the weapons around him. They get Anquan Bolden from the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
They draft 2 rookie tight ends who are both good pass catchers. And I think that Joe Flacco really has a great opportunity to step up and be close to 4,000 yards and 24, 25 touchdowns this year.
How about the guy that replaced Donovan McNabb?
And replacing Donovan McNabb, Kevin Kolb of the Philadelphia Eagles, another one of these breakout quarterbacks that definitely steps into a great situation. The Eagles are one of the few teams that historically have at least a 60% passing on offense.
Okay.
They always throw the ball more than they run the football. That's part of Andy Reid's philosophy. And Kevin Kolb last year in the 2 games that he got to start for Donovan McNabb, he threw 85 passes in those games. Both Deshaun Jackson and Brent Selleck, 2 of his best weapons, both went over 100 yards receiving in those 2 games. He can get the ball into the hands of his playmakers, and that means that Kevin Kolb definitely is ready to step up. If you wait until round 5, round 6, round 7 to take your quarterbacks, these are 2 guys. Definitely don't let them slip too far.
Okay, and sometimes you've got to wait that long to get your team in place, and if the best choices are already gone, of course. Breakout, what exactly does that mean? Just someone
Breakout
who's
means,
expected to do well later on?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Tess. This is a year where they're going to break out statistically
Gotcha.
and perform. One of the guys that I really like at running back is Arian Foster of the Houston Texans. Texans have a real good, have had a lot of success producing running backs, but Arian Foster, going into his second year right now, has won the job. Clearly, he's going to outplay Steve Slayton. We've got him predicted to get just over 1,000 yards and about 6 touchdowns. He's really had a real good preseason. He's a favorite. There was a trade this week that sent Derek Ward from Tampa Bay to Houston, and for some reason, Houston always produces good running backs, but this kid, Arian Foster, Russ, I think he's a real deal.
Yeah, Arian Foster has got a great upside there. I think that 1,006 is really the baseline for him. He could be much better than that.
And what about Hakeem Nicks? We've heard promising things coming from him.
Yeah, the New York Giants, Hakeem Nicks last year was a rookie player, and it took them several weeks to really get Hakeem Nicks into the mix in the starting lineup. Well, now that he's a year into it, if the New York Giants are forced to throw the football as much as they did last year because of the injuries to Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs, I think that Hakeem Nicks has got 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns written all over him, because this is a player that really has playmaking ability. He knows how to go up and get the ball. He's got good size. He's the great complement to Steve Smith, who's their possession-style wide receiver who catches a lot of passes. Hakeem Nicks could definitely bust it open.
And if you watch the game Thursday night, Tess, the first 8 passes, 7 of them went to Hakeem Nicks. So Eli Manning obviously wants to build a rapport there.
Yeah.
This guy is a playmaker. He's a big target, so we're looking for him to have a big year too.
All right, big promises from him. All right, someone who obviously didn't deliver, and that's why he's out, talking about our Matt Leinart, or was our Matt Leinart, on the Cardinals. Will this change with the Cardinals' hope to, you know, get far and get that title this year? Is that going to play a big role, not having him there?
Russ and I have been talking about this, Tess, and there's a couple of things. 2 things. First, about Matt Leinart. This is really more about Max Hall and how well he performed. I mean, Max Hall had a real good preseason, and they want to keep him right now, and I think that's an important thing. When we talk about the Cardinals this year, Derek Anderson won that job, and you know, it's funny, Russ and I were talking about this 3 years ago. The same thing happened, and a guy by the name of Kurt Warner took Matt Leinart's job, right? So 2 things that jumped out at me about this, and one is they looked at his whole body of work, but it's more about Max Hall. Now, as far as the Cardinals repeating, I think we're both we finally agree on one thing, and it is we don't know.
You guys agree?
Yeah, but we just don't know. They're the, you know, in my view is the Cardinals are the champs, and until they get proven otherwise, they're still the champs. So I think they've got a shot to win it this year. It's going to be them and the 49ers.
And you've been calling other teams to maybe get to that spot before the Cardinals, but feeling pretty pretty good about this year, maybe?
Possibly. We'll see what's going on with the 49ers, because they're really the only competition that the Cardinals have in the NFC West. I really think it could come down to tiebreakers. Head-to-head matchup between Arizona and San Francisco, division record against San Francisco. So we'll have to wait and see. But right now, 4 weeks ago, I predicted Arizona to be the division winner. Right now, I'm a little hesitant because I don't know if Derek Anderson's going to be able to lead the Cardinals to that division.
The other thing, too, Tess, is nobody has seen Max Hall play. So if they throw him in a game, no teams have any tape on him. He may surprise us. He may surprise a couple of teams and go out and win some games.
It sounds like that's what the Cardinals coaches are hoping for.
I think so. Don't be surprised.
Let's talk about some fantasy sleepers when it comes to the Cardinals.
Tim Hightower, I love this guy, and you know, this is a perfect year for him set up. They have Beanie Wells, but this guy not only runs with the ball, he catches a lot of passes. We're predicting him to have probably about 6 or 7 touchdowns, 500 yards maybe receiving and 300 yards rushing, right, Russ? Or vice versa, 500 yards rushing, 300 yards receiving. But this guy is the total deal. We think he's going to be a great play. The fact that Beanie Wells continues to have fumbles and get nicked up a little bit, but Hightower's got a lot of experience, especially when they need a pass blocking running back.
And when it comes to the defense, Cardinals defense pretty strong this year.
Cardinals defense is very strong. The rookie Darrell Washington's going to step into that starting spot where Carlos Dansby used to be. And Carlos Dansby was a huge playmaker for the Cardinals. But now you've also got Calais Campbell ready to really turn it on at defensive end for the Cardinals. They were 6th in the NFL last year with 43 sacks. They had 21 interceptions last year. This team knows how to get the ball from the opponents and do things with it. I think that this Cardinals defense really, as long as DRC gets back to that form he had 2 years ago when the Cardinals made their Super Bowl run, I think that there's no reason not to expect this Cardinals defense as a fantasy defense to be one of the top 10.
What about Darnell Dockett? He got paid.
Oh yeah, Darnell Dockett got paid.
No more tweeting about I need my money and show me the money. Now he's got to go out
and he's got to deliver.
You bet.
Absolutely,
So we'll
he's got to show that he's worth the money.
That's right.
All right. As always, of course, you guys have a free offer for our viewers in helping them with their fantasy football league.
You got it. At fantasyfootballstarters.com, Tess, we have our championship plan. It's $24.95, and every week we give a giveaway. And this week, the first person that will email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com with the answer to who was the last Arizona Cardinals running back to rush for over 1,000 yards in a single season, first person that emails me that correct answer, they'll win our championship plan package for the entire season. $24.95 value free.
Don't know this answer, I have to admit.
You don't?
No.
You going to give her a hint, Russ? No, we can't.
No, because then we'll give the viewers a hint.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you every Sunday here as we help our viewers out with their fantasy football teams. Thank you so much.